Are you breeding ball pythons or considering starting? One crucial aspect is understanding the life cycle of rats and their growth progression. Why, you ask? Well, because picking the right prey for your snakes directly impacts their growth, their health, and their feeding habits. So stick around, let's dive into the fascinating world, or at least I like to think so, of rats and how they fit into the feeding schedule of a ball python collection. Welcome to the video today. I'm Audra with Flawless Exotic Creations, and as you noted in the intro, we're talking about rats again today. I enjoy the rats. I enjoy taking care of them. I enjoy seeing them progress and grow, and you know, it's really involved me heavily by being able to be the rat connoisseur, or actually, I think Will calls me Ratatouille, but I really enjoy it. So last time we had sort of a rat-centered video. I discussed how I clean the enclosures, you know, how I wash them and all that kind of good stuff for you guys. And somebody asked me if I could do like the life cycle of rats, or at least rat pups, and from birth to, you know, the sizes that you want to feed your snake and all that kind of thing. So that's what today is about. It's about growth progression of your rats and when to feed what size animals, what size rats. So let's kind of start off with just first things being first, okay? There are obviously different sizes, and each of those different sizes from birth to, you know, your colossal size rats, your crazy big ones, they each go through stages, right? That's the growth progression. So they're called different things at different stages. And so those different stages, they start out as pinkies, right? They're born right out. They start out as pinkies, and they will progress to what we call fuzzies, and then on to pup rats. And then there'll be weanlings. We'll have small rats, medium rats, and medium is about as much as you really need to go as far as feeding your ball pythons, just because we're looking at, you know, 10 to 15% of your ball python's actual size is what you're kind of feeding your rat. Or when you look at the width of a rat, you don't want to go any bigger than what the biggest part of your snake's width, the circumference of the snake is. That's just like rule of thumb. Obviously, there are some snakes that, you know, take different sizes, but for purposes for us here at Flawless Exotic Creations and what we feed ours, we feed around the medium size who are our biggest adults and down. So that's what we're going to focus in on today. We're going to discuss the sizes that they are, what they look like, and about how long it takes for those rats to get two said sizes. So as you can tell, we have all the different ranges here. Let me separate them. They like to come together and pile on top of each other. If you've ever noticed, like when you open your rat bins with your mamas with their babies, typically they're all piled into one little conglomerate. So they like to be together. It gives them that warmth and all that kind of good stuff. So to start out with, we're going to start over here with our pinkies. So I've got actually two different sizes of pinkies. You'll notice the difference. As you can see, pinkies, these are pinkies. These are newborn rats. They're hairless and blonde. So if you can see, their little eyes aren't even really formed yet. I know, I'm sorry. He squeaked at me. But they are incredibly small. Like I said, this guy weighs anywhere from about 3 to 5 grams. The fuzz starting to show. Their eyes are really still closed, so you can see they still aren't completely formed there. The little ears are starting to pop out a little bit. So these are ideal for your ball python's first few meals. All right, what are you doing, little thing? I see you. Okay, come here. From about 14 days, so 2 weeks to 3 weeks old, that's when the real growth starts to kick in. Their eyes are starting to open, so these guys are still sort of in the fuzzy to rat pup stage. but they are starting to form in, and they are going to become more active. I know, you're really active. And see, that little one's really active. This little one's kind of just hanging on for dear life. Alright, these are what we refer to as pups, and they are chonkers, okay? They're really, really getting there in size. Still not completely opening their eyes quite yet. They're starting to, but they're not weaned off of mom's milk yet. Alright, so you can tell that's sort of from the progression from pinkies to larger rat pups. Once you get to about that 3 to 4 week old range, they are starting to get to the point of weanlings. And weanlings are rats that are still relatively small, but they're weaned off of mom's milk. So they're weighing anywhere from about 30 to 50 grams. They are excellent for ball pythons that are steadily growing and need a more filling meal. Small rats are around 4 to 8 weeks old, and they weigh anywhere from like 50 to 90 grams, and they are commonly fed to subadult ball pythons. At this stage, the snakes are usually around 400 to 600 grams, and they need a meal that will sustain their rapid growth, because this is when they're really starting to grow. And then adult rats, or which would be anywhere basically from your small rats up, they're 8 weeks and older. So they're going to range from 100 grams to over 250 grams. They are typically fed to adult ball pythons. Large female ball pythons, like I said in the introduction that you saw, that they can handle, you know, a bigger prey, while smaller males might still prefer the smaller rats. So you might still want to give your smaller males like a small rat, you know, where it has just come out of that real, like that weanling stage. They just might do better with that. So it just really, like I said, depends on the snake's size and exactly what it's willing to take. You'll know. So you'll know with each individual snake what their feeding habits are. But it's really important to kind of start them off in the right direction. You don't want to overload them to begin with, and then risk all kinds of issues like regurg, and then them going off food and not eating, not growing correctly. So just make sure that when you're looking across your babies there, your rat babies, that you pick the right one for the right snake. That's why rat progression is so important, to understand the sizes and, you know, kind of where they are in that life cycle, so that you feed at correct intervals. So as you can see, we went through the baby, different sizes, you know, your pinkies and fuzzies, your rat pups, and your weanlings. They progress so quickly, like they're really, as far as their life cycle and their growth progression, is very quick. So literally from week to week, they're changing. Gestation for rats is around 21 to 23 days. So if you time it correctly, you should be able to feed your entire collection with, with a size of operation about this size. We don't feed our entire collection as of right now. Again, we still work with our rodent breeder, Drew. He's just been awesome. He's helped us kind of get this going for us. And he's just, been a great resource for us. So if you still do get rodents from a rodent breeder, and you still want to continue to support that rodent breeder, by all means do. But you may get to a point where your collection is sizable as such, way over the 10 snakes we were supposed to have. But anyway, you get to a point where your collection is so sizable that you do need a little bit of extra from week to week to kind of help you with the budget. And it is far more budget friendly than buying them every week. Or buying as many as you need every week. So let's just put it that way. But again, like I say, if you time it right, just as females, their gestation, the life cycle, the actual birthing process, it's quick. You know, it's a good turnaround. Even though these guys are feeders, it is the circle of life. I mean, I get that, but you still want to make sure that you are raising your animals ethically. You know, there are considerations and care for feeder rats as any other animal out there. It's hard for me because I legitimately don't like feeding off these animals to other animals, just because I get connected to them. I get attached because they are so cute. I have gotten to the point now with a lot of my rat mamas where they know me so well that when I go to their enclosure and I pull it out, like, they will legit bring their babies to me. And I'm just like, oh my God, Mama, I'm so sorry. Like, this makes me feel terrible that you're sitting here bringing me your baby to slaughter. Like, that's terrible. Like, I don't even want to think about it. But it is the circle of life. And if we, you know, if you understand that there is a good purpose behind feeding off these animals to other animals to create you know, beneficial nutrients and stuff for your snakes, then, you know, you feel a little bit better. You can sleep a little bit better at night. But we'll typically, you know, I gather them up out of here. I'll pull the pups and stuff, and he'll take them down there and feed them all, so I don't got to see my little babies being fed off. But it is what it is. Sometimes you have to do it, and if, you know, something were to be in a situation where Will couldn't feed, or something happened, then I, of course, would take on that role, but I don't like it. I'll do it, but I don't like it. They're so darn cute. I know, I'm such a girl when it comes to these babies. But anyway, like I said, make sure that in the last video, make sure you're cleaning your enclosures. If you haven't checked out that last video, please do so, because there's some excellent tips on how to keep it from smelling like a rodent breeding facility, and being a good neighbor if you live in a neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. So I've got some great tips for that. You just want to continue to monitor your ball pythons or snakes' weights and notice their feeding habits. Take into account exactly how they feed, what they do, you know, what are their drives. Are they ones where you put it in there and they immediately snap it, or do they take their time? Just keep in mind your particular snake's feeding habits and how to present the animals to them. Again, we feed live, but there's a lot out there that feed frozen thawed, and I mean, whatever works for your snake is whatever works for your snake. So, you know, the size guidelines are the same across the board. So if you, like I said, have any questions, feel free to ask. That's pretty much all. If you like this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us, hit that notification bell. We love you guys, and hopefully I'll see you again. I'm out. Bye.